Good evening. Welcome back to Crochet with Lulu and the crew of 5. They've just been and come in. 7 says hello. How is everyone doing and what are you working on and what have you been up to? I am sorry that I have been missing in yarnication land, LOL. New word. I have not crocheted a whole lot. I have started projects and put them down. I'm terrible with starting things. And then this is a beanie I started. I'm on row 5. And I was using the, oh my mind just went herringbone stitch in some of the rows. And I really like that. I had used it a couple of years ago when I first learned about the herringbone and really enjoyed working with it. And one of the channels I follow, and I think it's Moogly, Tamara at Moogly Crochet. I believe it's her that uses a lot of the herringbone stitches, but I'm not sure. But I really enjoy using it, especially in the beanie, so I'm probably going to incorporate that into several of my beanie projects. I have several beanies on the waiting list. I have started and stopped and put them aside. And I think that's been the story of my life the last couple of years especially, is I'm so gung-ho about starting a project and then I start it and then I stop. I'm still working on trying to think of the blanket pattern that I want to go by. So many of you have had such beautiful ideas, and I have actually started 3 blankets. One I'm thinking, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe it was the Daisy Cottage Crochet. I'm thinking. I started the gingham washcloth, dishcloth, and I do not remember whose pattern I was following to do that. And then I started 2 more blankets. One was the cinnamon stitches. It was one of her blanket patterns that I believe Kimberly, Simply Living in a Small Town, had done. So then I started yet another blanket, and I don't remember which pattern I was using. I think that's me here lately. I will start, and if I don't write it down right then, I forget whose pattern I'm looking at and going by, and then I end up frogging it back. Now the one by, I'm wanting to think it was Daisy Cottage Crochet. I will try to find out and link in the description box. If not, you can kind of tell by the pattern, and it's next door in my apartment. I forgot to bring all my projects over here that I had started. You crochet, I think 3 double crochets, and then I think you chain 1 and skip 3 and then go into the 4th one, and you're making, Ophelia Talks calls them boxes. Some calls them window panes, but you're making just a square space, and then you will do that for a couple of rows, however many rows you want to do that, and then you'll do a couple of rows that's maybe single or half double or double crochet. So I really liked the process because it's one of those you're just following along with the row below. You know, if you had the window pane or the box on the row below, then you have the straight row, or you can switch it up however you want to. And I really liked that one. The problem was the yarn I was using did not do as well after I started working it up as I had hoped it would. So I think what I'm gonna do is frog it back. I had found some variegated yarn in my stash in the basement. So I thought I would use that in this baby blanket that I'm wanting to do. And that's the size of this one that I've started. But the variegated is one of those, and I'm not sure what they call them. It's an older, kind of a ball skein. And like, it's not like a straight yarn. It's kind of jagged. And I can't remember what they call that. But it being variegated and that, it's hard to do like the foundation row to make it look right. So my thought is, if I don't frog this one back, I may incorporate it in so many rows into this and then switch out every so many rows. Just not sure yet. I don't handle big projects very well, but this one, this pattern, it's keeping my mood and my motivation. But I have put it down for a few days. I've had a lot going on and I've just not been in the right headspace. So I want to apologize for my channel content or lack thereof. Hold on one moment. They hear a siren, so they're going to start howling. I apologize. They hear the sirens. There's a fire department about 2 miles up the street, and then 2 streets over there's another fire department. And so and then I'm on the road where the hospital, and so there's a lot of sirens going up and down. And then at the end of the other street, or close to the end, is the deputies and sheriffs and all that. So there's a lot of, we're right on the busy thoroughfare, as I call it. But I wanted to apologize for the lack of content on my channel. I've just not been in a good headspace. And I brought myself out of my pity party today. There, I've said it. You sometimes, and especially being one that I'm home a lot alone with, I tend to go into that headspace, and that's the wrong place to be probably 90% of my time, because you know, you get used to just being there, and then everything looks bigger than what it really is. And I've struggled. You know, there's some issues going on that I'm struggling with, and so we're all struggling. We are all struggling. And I try to remind everybody on my Facebook page every so often, because I share a lot of silly posts and motivational posts, I call them, on my Facebook page. I try, every once in a while I'll say my event of the day, or sometimes I'll even say my event of the week or whatever. But it's usually nothing like, you know, I'm just, sometimes I'm angry at the system. So, you know, and especially, you know, with all the war that's going on in the other countries, and then we have so much bad things going on in our country, and it's so hard right now, sorry about the noise, it's so hard right now to stay focused and to stay positive. You know, it really is. And where I'm not out fellowshipping with people, I'm 98% of my time home. Probably 80% I'm home alone with, and that's okay, being with these, you know, I'm fine with that. It's just that sometimes when we are not daily fellowshipping person to person, in person with other folk, sometimes we forget that fellowship. And I stay in touch with several of you via email and text and things of that nature, and I love that. I love, love, love it. I love the inspiration that you all bring me, and so many others. I love your devotions. I love your openness, your sistership, your brothership. I love all of that with all of you all. So I've just been, you know, as we say in the South, the mully grubs, and I didn't want to bring anybody else to the mully grub subdivision with me, the community of mully grubs. So please forgive me for the lack of my content. I don't have a lot to show. I struggle with that because I can't keep my attention on one thing. I can't imagine anything distracting me. I can't imagine not having the sense sometimes to sit and crochet. And I'm not a fast crocheter. I'm not a fast crocheter. I tried that at Christmas and I drove myself, excuse me, I'm missing two. I drove myself bonkers. One moment. I need 5 sets of eyes on these, especially 2 of them, because they're all over the place, and you have to watch because they'll leave evidence behind sometimes. So there is that, and they're well trained. It's just, I think the male instinct in them and the puppy instinct in them, they do that sort of thing. Anyways, I'm not a fast crocheter, and I lose my oomph, I'll say. So I started this project, and I was so excited because this is some yarn I got for Christmas. It come from the $1.25 50-cent tree, and I love it. It's so soft, it's so squishy, and I really love it. I'm just not sure how it's going to work up into a beanie, so I may frog this back and use this in another project. I have kind of a reddish maroonish variegated, and then I have a darker variegated. I had a greenish color that I used in a beanie, and this, and seems like there's another one, and I really love it. Normally I don't work well with a lot of yarns, but this is so soft and squishy to use, and it does work up well. I just don't know about a beanie because you kind of want that, you want some stiffness, but yet you don't want it to be so stiff. Does that make sense? But I really love, some of this is herringbone, and I really, really love that. I'm not sure that that's going to show up very well. So I think I may frog this one back and use this yarn in maybe a filler on a blanket project. I'm still, like I said, I really like the one that I'm working up right now. I'm just not sure about the yarn, so I'm going to pick it back up probably this week and work with it some more and see how some more rows will look on it, and then maybe incorporate the variegated yarn that I have. It's real soft in with that, and then I have another couple of partial balls that came from, and I'm not sure what yarn it is. So if I do, I will let you know. There's so many good pattern suggestions. The Star Blanket, Amanda crochets. She has beautiful, beautiful blankets. The Star was by Betty McNett, I think that was right. So there's so many good ones. Creative Grandma does a bunch of beautiful blankets. Cody, Bag O' Day. Oh my word, I love all of the suggestions. So I'm just not sure. It's going to be one that is quick. Well, when I say quick, simple. It has to be simple for me. I love the challenge, I'll say, of a lot of the stitches, like the herringbone. It took me a minute to get back into doing the herringbone, and I really liked it. Once I got into it, it was hard to stop doing the herringbone. that's like half double crochet. Once I get into doing half double crochet, it's so quick and so easy that I will forget sometimes to do a double crochet or single crochet or treble or what have you. So once I get into it, I love the roll and the ease of it. But saying all of that, it has to be something that keeps my attention to want to keep picking it back up. And right now, the headspace I've been in, it's been hard to keep focused on what I'm looking at. So my cataracts are not as where they should be. Like reading is a struggle for me. I have to take my glasses off, and then it has to be at an angle. The lighting has to be just so. It's a challenge. So a lot of times I have to depend on my tutorials. So I thank you all for putting up with me and bearing with me. I love your fellowship, your sistership, your brothership. I love you all so much, and I want you to know how happy I get when you post a video. There are so many of us that are struggling with physical, mental, all of these things, and we sometimes we're not as open, I guess, as we should be. And I don't want to bring anybody down, so there's a lot of times you don't say things because you don't want to bring people down. Whoops, I'm sorry. So we don't say a lot, but this is a community we feel safe in, and we should be able to say those things. I have been struggling with some blood pressure issues, and so that kind of had me down for a couple of weeks, and then it just seemed like there was other things that came into play during this time, and I'm thinking, no wonder my blood pressure is on the whack. No wonder. But then there's times everything's just calm and smooth, and you're praising the Lord that things are calm and smooth. And then there's other days that you're like, oh my goodness. And so that's kind of, I've been in this mode lately, and then I've been in the low mode lately. And I know we've all struggled. I watch so many YouTubers that it seems like we're all so tired, and we're just all so stressed. And it doesn't have to be big things that stress us. Sometimes it's just so many little things can stress us out. And I really, really need to start getting back out more, because I love that fellowship, that communion with other people. And I love being out and about. I really do. I'm one of those that I love being out and about. I love seeing people. Yeah, and I try to know my place. I try not to force my way in on anybody's situation. I try to leave it as I'm here 24/7. And if you need to talk, call me. Because I may not hear my text, because a lot of times I leave my YouTube on, and I'll try to find a travel video or a YouTube tutorial that's a long one that I can hear in the background that is peaceful and calming. And then sometimes I'll eventually I call it passing out. I just conk. And so I always tell them, if you need me, just call me. We can talk or get my attention, and then we can text, however you feel comfortable. So, but I do miss that being one-on-one with somebody. I do miss groups. I miss being in a group. I miss being smack dab right in the middle of a group that's loud and noisy, and just, sometimes I love to watch people. I'm a people watcher. I love to sit in a group, in a crowd, and just watch people, and just see all of the faces and hear the laughters and the talks and stuff. So I'm going to have to force myself to start getting back out into society. I miss these little fellers though when I'm away from them, but even they need a break from me. I feel like sometimes they're saying, go, be with others, go. The force is calling you, go. Oh my goodness. Those of you that know I'm a Star Trek and a Star Wars sci-fi fan, you can understand that. Anyways, enough silliness. I do love each one of you, and I thank you so much. There's so many of you. I love your devotionals. I love your talks. I love you showing things that you've done. I don't care if it's crochet or building a house. You know, I love seeing what you've done. I love seeing your accomplishments and hearing about your families and your travels, or just everything. I love hearing it all, because sometimes that keeps us company when we are home. And so many of you keep me company, you keep me motivated, you keep me inspired. And there's a couple of my little YouTube friends that I love beyond the moon. I've never met them in person. I pray that someday that it will be that we can all meet somewhere along life's exciting journey. But if we don't ever meet in person, you are my sisters, you are my brothers. And there's a couple of my little YouTube friends that I want you to know, and you know who you are, because we email quite often. And I love you. You inspire me. You encourage me, you support me, you talk to me, and you let me know that sometimes it's just not, sometimes it's just okay to not be, and I don't want to say it's okay not to be okay. Sometimes it's just okay not to be that happy, cheerful, joking person that I try to be. Sometimes we struggle and we just pick up and we go on. And so you will never know what your email done for me this morning when you emailed me back, and we had that friendship and that sistership, and you let me know that I'm in your prayers. And then I love that. I love that. And I'm one that if I tell you I'm praying for you, or I'm sending you good vibes, I'm sending you good wishes, I'm sending you hugs and love, I mean that. And I know there's two separate families that, like I said, they keep me inspired and they keep me motivated. And I just thank you so much. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to say this before I get off. I want you all to know that even though we're all struggling, we all have each other. We have our families, our friends here. I have a good group of people. My son being right at the top of that list. He makes sure that, you know, and sometimes he'll come through and he'll say, well, do we need to talk? You know, and we can talk anytime, but sometimes he knows when something is eating at me to my core. And it's good to have somebody in your group, whether you've known them in person or you know them through YouTube, that knows when something is eating at you and something isn't right. And I appreciate that, because these two girls, they mean so much to me. Sometimes just out of the blue, when I'm having my very worst moments, I'll open up my email, which I do. I try to check my email often. How are you doing? I just wanted to check on you and let you know you're in my prayers. And that means so much to me. And then I have another one that's further northeast, and she will text me or email me, and she'll send me pictures of her projects. That means so much to me. That means these groups have families and friends that they see, but to know that I'm on their mind means so much to me, because you are on my mind. I watch each one of you, and when you have family problems or sicknesses or pet fur baby problems or sicknesses, I'm right there with you. I feel like I'm in the same room with you sometimes. When you're talking about things that you're struggling with, there's one that I'm following, and she's going through a lot of health issues, and I feel like I'm right there with her, because I have family that have had most of those same issues. And then now I'm experiencing the blood pressure issues and the cataracts. And let me tell you, they are not fun. They're not fun. My mother would tell my son and I often, it's so foggy outside. You all be careful when you're out there on the roads, and it's just foggy. And we'd say, Mom, it's really not foggy. Yes, it's foggy. We didn't realize, and her eye doctor failed her in so many ways. He should have done cataract surgery many years before they got so bad, so that she could have enjoyed her eyesight, because she struggled so much, and she didn't understand why that she was going through this, especially in the later part of her life. She didn't understand that was from the cataracts, and I didn't understand a lot of it until now. I'm going through, and I told a little girl a few months ago, I said, take your contacts out and do this to them, and then pop them back in. And I said, all of that smudging and that blurriness, that's what I experience daily. And to read is so very hard. I can read, and eventually I will read it, but the fine print, oh my word. And I'm so used to getting my phone and taking a picture or zooming in. My phone is my magnifying. It really is. And I was talking to somebody the other day about that, and we were laughing, and they were going through the same issues with the, maybe not necessarily the cataracts, but the issues with things being so little, they were having to use their phone. And I said, sometimes I get a piece of paper and I'm sitting there trying to zoom in. Because I'm so used to having my phone in my hand, but I have to put it on a tripod at night because I've broken the kickstand off of it. And potato chip bag clips glued on the back does not work. I'm just saying for a friend. Just saying, it doesn't work. Clothespins doesn't work. Just saying for a friend. So at night, I try to keep my phone on the tripod, and I keep it scooted up so that I can reach it and doom scroll and do all of that, and follow all of my nighttime YouTubers and the ones I've missed through the day. Because if I don't, I will throw my phone as I'm going to sleep. I've thrown it I don't know how many times. So I've got to figure out a system. I'm wearing my phone out. I've got to find a cheap phone or get a tripod that will fit my mother's tablet. I bought her a Amazon Fire tablet. She called it her Facebook, bless her heart. She'd say, can I have my Facebook? And I'd say, you sure can. And I'd turn it on and hand it to her, and she'd sit there with her little glasses up, and she'd just scroll and look at it. So that brings back lots of good memories whenever I turn that tablet on, and all the pictures of her gown and her feet. Somehow she would inevitably find the camera thing. I guess she just didn't realize. And so we've got all these pictures of the gown designs. So I keep them. I keep all of that. But anyways, I just want you to know that even if I'm not on YouTube doing a content creation, I'm thinking about all of you, and I do want to start posting more videos. It may not all be that things I've just crocheted, because as we know, I'm not a fast crocheter. I see some of you all, oh my word, you'll do a blanket in a couple of days. You've gotten a blanket, a cardigan, and corner to corner and a mosaic, and I'm thinking, oh my word, just to do my little gingham dishcloth, washcloth, I'm still working on it. Because it takes so much concentration for me to carry that, and oh my word, just, yeah. I admire you all so much for all you do. And you know, I wasn't into the amigurumi scene a few years ago, and then now it's everything I see, and everybody that sends me things now, most of it is amigurumis, or amigurumis, however you say that. So I'm really into that scene now, as we know. But I'm going to get off from here. I've been 31 minutes and so many seconds rambling, and I apologize because I've said a lot of ands, well, and used my hands a lot, and I do apologize for that. I can't even say it's just a Southern thing, because I think a lot of people do that, but I do it more than I should, and for that I do apologize. I thank you all for bearing with me. Thank you all for your beautiful comments, your friendship, your sisterhood, your brotherhood. Thank you so much. Thank you. And just know how much you all mean to me. Thank you. I love you. And I will try to be back in a couple of days with some more videos. I do have some things I really need your prayers for. I am looking for favor in a certain situation, and I really need this. I really need this, and I would appreciate your prayers, and I thank you so much. And you'll be the first ones to know when the prayer's answered, because I will probably do a post, praise the Lord, and you'll know you'll know. I can't do the happy dance anymore, but in my mind I'm doing the happy dance. Thank you all so much. I love you dearly from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Join me back next time for more things. Things and subjects. TNS. Bye-bye.